get over. It ain't easy, you might need a four-leaf clover. If you ain't willing to work hard, then can it? It's the most sought-after job on this planet. Now, you tell me you wanna be an impartial judge of my solvency. Now, you tell me you wanna protect the world from corporate fraudulency. Now, all that sounds like fun, son, but you gotta walk before you can run. To know what these numbers mean, you gotta know the debit credit theory.
Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debit left, credit right, debit left, credit right. For complete satisfaction, balance all of your transactions. Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debit left, credit right, debit left, credit right. For complete satisfaction, balance all of your transactions. Balance all of your transactions.
So, if you really wanna know about your cash flow, where your money go, then give in to the temptation. Understand the fundamental accounting equation. An asset increasing is a debit, an asset decreasing is a credit. The reverse is true for liabilities and equity. If you get this, then you get accountancy.
Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debit left, credit right, debit left, credit right. For complete satisfaction, balance all of your transactions. Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debit left, credit right, debit left, credit right. For complete satisfaction, balance all of your transactions.
On a high road, I gotta work your way up to controller. You ain't on a high road, I gotta work your way up to controller. You ain't on a high road, I gotta work your way up to controller. You ain't on a high road, I gotta work your way up to controller.
Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debit left, credit right, debit left, credit right. For complete satisfaction, balance all of your transactions. Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debit left, credit right, debit left, credit right. For complete satisfaction, balance all of your transactions. Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debit left, credit right, debit left, credit right. For complete satisfaction, balance all of your transactions. Debits on the left, credits on the right. Debit left, credit right, debit left, credit right.
Welcome, friends. Hope you're having a good morning. This is Olga Sher, your host at Antonanka Earth Art School. I would like to welcome Galina Shekoff, who will be speaking to us today about the financial literacy, useful for both kids and adults. And today we will be discussing many very important topics such as budgeting, loans, interest, and such. Welcome, Galina, and thank you so much for teaching us all of this very practical stuff.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be back at Antonanka University online. And I want to start my topic today by reminding you the story which we discussed last time. I was talking about the young girl, Jennifer. We hired her as assistant property manager. She received a very good salary. You have to know that out of school, she received like a $55,000 annual salary. She was very happy. Jennifer lived with her parents in a very nice Queens area, and she was happy because she realized that she doesn't really need to ask her parents for the funds she needs for like everyday expenses. In a couple of months, she realized, and it was very obvious, that she wasn't happy. No, I'm sorry, let's start from the beginning. She decided to move to New York City. She said that she's young, beautiful, and she wants to enjoy the New York City life. So she moved out of her parents' house, moved to New York City, and she pretty quickly adjusted to the city life. And what does it mean is that she was buying breakfast at Starbucks instead of taking the subway. She was taking Uber on the way to work and from work, and different things. And like I said, in a couple of months, it became very obvious that she wasn't happy. And she approached me and asked me as an accountant to help her understand what is she doing wrong, that her financial position is really, really bad. So I asked her if she ran any budget numbers before she decided to move to the city. And to my surprise, she didn't even know what the budget is. This is what brought me to the idea that we need to teach our kids and very often adults as well the concept of budgeting. This is what we're going to start our class with today. And as an example, I prepared the schedule for the Jennifer budget. Olga, can you please have a slide? Okay, this is Jennifer budget. And we're going to start with the income. Her annual salary, as I said, was at $55,000. Guys, I have to tell you, it's a very good salary for the beginners, and not only for the beginners, it's a good salary. Her weekly salary was $1,058. The way it's calculated, I divided 55 by 52 weeks. This is how it's done. 1 year has 52 weeks. So her annual salary, her weekly salary was $1,058. Her net salary was $725. What's the difference between gross and net? As we discussed last time, there are different expenses which everybody has to pay, and in this situation there is a payroll taxes, which expenses for everybody, and everybody is paying this, and this is what taken out of your paycheck automatically by the payroll company. So even though her weekly salary was $1,058, she received actual cash only $725, or it's a $37,694 per year, not 55. And if now you back into the monthly expense, monthly income, this is monthly cash which came to her bank account. It was $3,141. This was her monthly cash coming in. Now let's see what her expenses were living in New York City versus living at home with her parents. The rent studio apartment in New York City is about $2,595. You can find a little bit cheaper, but you can find also more expensive. She had to pay for the home phone, internet, TV. She didn't care about so much home phone, but she needed internet. So basically she paid $80 per month for internet. The cell phone service, who can live without it now? It's $50 per month. She had to pay for her new phone, which she financed. And again, we're going to talk about financing a little bit later. It's $58 per month. Electric bills, around $40 per month. Now, as I told you, she used Uber twice a day. Even though she shared Uber, so she didn't pay the full price, it's an average $6 per each way. 30 days, it's a $360. Breakfast at Starbucks, believe me or not, it comes to around $10. I heard that minimum coffee is $4.50. I'm sorry, it's not 50 cents, it's a typo. Lunch, in New York City, lunch, it's $9 to $10 per day. So you see what it comes to, $285. Dinners, the $15 per dinner, it's very conservative, meaning it's very low. Usually it's much higher, but we're gonna take $15. It comes to $4.50. She used 2 credit cards and she had to pay minimum payment $30 for each card, which comes to $60. So all these must spend expenses come to $4,278. And if you compare it with her monthly net income, $3,141, you see that every month she was in the deficit for $1,137. In the right column, you see the expenses which she would have to pay if she lived at home. It's much. The difference is over $3,000. So living at home, she would save $3,000 every single month. On the next page, we can see, Olga, can you turn the page, please? Yes, we can see the expenses which are not included in the previous page, because this is not like necessary expenses, but it's very common, and you should expect them. Buying new clothes, hair salon, manicure, pedicure for the girls, buying presents for friends and families, going out at night to the bar, restaurants, vacations. Other possible expenses: gym fees, car leasing if you have a car insurance, gas for cars, buying minimum furniture. So if Jennifer ran these numbers before she rented an apartment, she would understand that there is no way she could afford to rent her own apartment. The bottom line, she lost a lot of money. She not only she was in deficit every single month, but also she had to pay the termination fees because she didn't leave until the expiration of the lease. She had to leave early. So this is why it's very, very important to have a budget. But to have a budget on the paper, it's really good thing, but it's not all. What you need to do, you need to stick to this budget, because if you plan it's on a paper, but then you go to the store and you, oh, this is pretty, I have to buy it, or I may use it, or I may not use it. So this is very important to stick to the budget. And this, if you do this on the paper, you can see what you can afford and what you can not afford. And now I want to introduce you to the different ways you can purchase things. Okay, if we want to go to, yeah, this is like illustration of how the money comes in and where does it go, the things which we need to buy, and the things which we luxury, things which we not necessarily need to buy. So that's let's go to the next topic, and it's we have a guy, John, who decided to buy a computer system. For example, he's going to college, okay, and he needs a good computer system, not like cheap, but something more decent, for the total cost of $5,000. We have a different examples of how he can do it. Let's say he saved his money by not spending, his allowances, saving them. And let's say he has a $5,000 in the bank. This would be the easiest way. Take this $5,000 and pay for the computer system. Be done. Yeah, you can go to the bank, take $5,000 cash, and pay for it, but very few people do it. Even though you want to pay the full amount, you most likely will be using the debit card. Debit card is a really good thing because it teaches you that you cannot spend money that you don't have. So you pay by debit card, and this money automatically goes out of your account at the same time. So it's basically the same thing as paying cash. And you can see you pay $5,000 in the store. You're not going to have any monthly payment. You are not going to have any interest paid. Great. He can pay also by credit card. This is, for example, my favorite thing. I pay by credit card, but I only buy what I can afford to pay right away when the next bill comes. So you pay by credit card. When the next payment is due, you'll send a check to the credit card for the full amount of $5,000. So your computer still costs you $5,000, no monthly payment, no interest whatsoever. But the store offered John to finance this computer. Like store like Best Buy, they would tell you that you can finance the computer. They would offer you, for example, to pay $5,000 with 10% interest. And they offer you also to pay it over 5 years. So let's see what it's going to cost him in reality. So he doesn't pay anything in the store. His monthly payment will be $106, but his total interest over 5 years with the 10% which he agreed to pay would be $1,374. So technically, if you think his computer will not cost him $5,000 anymore, it's going to cost him $6,374. And his actual interest will be 27%. So you're going to ask me, wait a second, but didn't he agree to pay 10%? Yes, he did agree to pay 10%. But the interest is calculated not only on the cost, which is like called principal, it's also interested on the interest. So that's why his true interest is 27%. He has another choice. He can, for example, pay like only $2,000 down, meaning again with his credit card. Let's say he didn't have 5,000, but he did have two, and then finance $3,000. In this case, we can see that his monthly payment will be $64, and the total interest $824. So his total purchase price would be $5,824. It's also 27%, but on the smaller amount. He has another option. He can, for example, the store offered him to pay the $5,000 not over 10 years, not over 5 years, but over 10 years period, which is longer. Again, he financed the whole $5,000. He doesn't pay anything in the store. His monthly payment will be lower, $66 versus $106 we saw before. But his total interest will be $2,929. So his computer will cost him basically almost $8,000 with the 59% interest. And the same thing, if he finance only $3,000, he's going to pay in the store $2,000 with the monthly payment $40 and the total interest $1,758. So in this case, it's going to cost him $6,758. So the conclusion is that when you finance your purchase, computers, cars, loans, etc., the longer the period of repayment, the higher interest you're paying. Your actual interest is much higher than what you are signing up for, like 27, 59% versus 10% is due to the compounding interest. In other words, you are paying interest on interest. And Einstein, considering compounding interest as the eighth wonder of the world, he said that he who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. And I would like you to look at this quote more than once and think about it. What did he really mean by this? And if you have any question, if you want to discuss, you can always contact us at Antinanka University. And the next topic we'd like to discuss is the credit cards. If you look everywhere, like online, in the newspaper, everywhere, you can see that the credit cards debts amount is like skyrocketing. It's skyrocketing all over the country. And this is really, really bad things because people don't understand that what they're doing. They really put kind of themselves like a financial prison. This is how I consider this. And I want to give you an example of how it works for the credit cards. And as an example, let's say you decide to buy the bicycle for $500 on January 18th. You do not have $500. That's why you decided to pay with your credit card. Convenient way, no money, but you can still have bicycle. So then, let's say in May 2018, you also use the same credit card to pay another $200 to buy something for another $200. So now you have $700 balance on your credit card. The credit card charge you 10% interest, which is calculated. It's technically they don't calculate it on monthly; they calculate it on a daily basis. So the credit card requests you to pay $25 per month, and they say that if you late any 1 month or if you skip the payment 1 month, they're going to charge you additional $135 late fee per month. So the different scenarios of how you pay the credit cards. If you pay this $25 per month with no late fee, you will pay $700, $789.82 over a period of 2 years and 8 months. This is on the assumption that you don't use this credit card anymore, so you don't buy anything else. Pay $25 per month. It will take you 2 years and 8 months to pay this credit card with a 13% interest. If you decide to pay not a minimum payment, $25, but just $100 extra every month, so you're going to pay $125 per month, your additional interest will be only $12.99. So your actual interest will be only 2%, and you're going to pay this purchase off during the 6.5 months. If, however, during this time, when you pay minimum interest, you were late 4 times, for example, you're going to pay 4 times of $135, which is actually, I'm sorry, it's a mistake. The late fee would be $540, not $140. It will take you 3 years and 7 months to pay off this way. So if you pay minimum payment but skip or being late only 4 times, your actual interest will be $38. So you can see that it's really not, it's you basically making money for credit cards. Credit cards are very happy when you pay minimum and when you late. Unfortunately, if you need to buy something significant, like for example the car, or you apply for the student loan, or you apply for the mortgage to buy a house or apartment, the lender, the people who are lending you money, what they do, they check your credit report. Everybody in America has a credit history, credit report. It goes by your social security number. So if you have a bad credit history, if you have a late payments, or you have the payments that you skip, the lender will either reject you, so they will not lend you money to buy what you need to buy, or they're going to charge you much higher interest. So if you cannot afford to pay like the purchase cost in full, or you cannot afford to pay extra money every month, at least try not to be late. Because if you pay your minimum payment due on time, this is good for the credit report. If you don't pay on time, it's not good. Also, you have to consider when you decide, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to pay minimum? You want to pay extra? Again, you have to think what is in line with your budget. Yes, you would like to pay it right away, or you would like to pay $100 or $200 more. But if it's not in your budget, if it means that your budget will have a negative balance, you'd rather stick with the $25, okay, minimum fee. This is how it works, and this is what you have to always remember. I would personally like to buy things on credit card, but when I buy, I only consider buying something which I can afford to pay at the end of the billing cycle. There are situations when you have to step outside of this practice, but try not to spend money on something that you cannot afford. And unfortunately, this is what credit card versus the debit card teaches you, that it's okay to spend money even though you don't have funds to pay. This is a really bad practice. At the end, I try to tell teenager and parents, encourage that teenagers should participate in the household money discussion. Kids have to understand where money coming from and how they are spent, because very often we can see the kids who has a constant stream of buy me, and they have to understand that it can put the stress on the family. And I want to finish with giving you like one homework to do if you would like. I would like you to take a piece of paper and a pencil pen and walk around your apartment or your room or your house and make a list of all the items which you bought or you ask your parents to buy for you, which you now think was absolutely not necessary to buy and which you don't need anymore, which you don't care anymore, which you either throw in the garbage or donate to somebody. Make a list and put the money value against each of these items. If you don't remember how much you paid, you can go online and check how much was it, did it cost you, and then you can see how much money was actually wasted. Okay, all the things which you bought, which were for you very, very important at the time, but now, like when time passes, you understand that you could live happily without this item. And if you think about putting this money into saving, to save for something more important, something which you think it's going to be your goal in like a little bit longer period of time. Let's say, for example, you are like 12, 13 years old now. If you live in the area where you can start driving at 16, 17, just think about it. You have 4 or 5 years until you can own your own car and start driving it. Yeah, you will think, okay, my parents will buy it for me, which probably is the case. Um, if parents can afford to buy you cars, they of course they will. But first of all, not every parents can afford it, number one. And number two, you will feel much better driving this car knowing that you either bought it yourself or you significantly participate, or at least you try to participate in the purchase of this car. And if you remember the quote which we had at the beginning, Tony Robbins, he's very famous coach now. He coaches the movie stars, very like worldwide athletes, and he also has a lot of very good advices about money and money investment. His quote is that whatever you get will never make you happy. So yeah, you probably will be happy if you have a car from the parents, let's not lie. But who you become, that will make you either very happy or very sad. So if you participated in the purchase of this car or wherever you think it's like important for you, or if you bought it yourself, it will make you so much happier than if somebody handed it to you. And unfortunately, we can look around, see very rich kids who have everything from the parents, and a lot of them are not happy. So please try to follow these advices and save money. If you have any questions, please, you can ask me now or you can send it to me. Olga will have my information on the screen. And I hope you enjoy this presentation, and I hope you learn something from this because it's very, very important. Thank you for listening.
Galina, thank you so much for all of the wonderful information. It's very, very helpful, very useful. Friends, if you have any questions in the future, please let us know. You can email us at info@antinanco.org. You can reach out to us through our website, www.antinanco.org, or Facebook page, and we have many more free classes coming up through the month of May.